Hey, what's good, John? Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be going over the NBA playoffs, game number 1, Spurs versus Knicks, and I'm going to be giving you some of my favorite picks for the day, as well as just some of the vibes that I'm looking at for this specific game. By the way, we're going to be using Line Crush to do all of our research. If you guys haven't already tried it out, they literally have a 3-day trial going on right now, and they're one of the cheapest research tools. You guys can try it out. They give you all the stats, all of the data, as well as they give you guys something called vibes, which are things like podcasts, tweets, and quotes to give you some of the best possible picks. So you guys go ahead and try it out for yourself. You guys go ahead and click the link in the description or just search up linecrush.com so you guys can try it out. But with that being said, here are some of my favorite picks I have already saved. They altered them down a little bit. I'm going to give you my opinions on them, and then you guys can, take as you will. But for this game number 1, I really don't want to take too many picks because I'd rather just see how this game plays out. I want to see how the Knicks defend Wembanyama. I want to see how the Knicks, go to the rim and, what their game plan is, right? Are they going to be using Josh Hart and Landry Shamet more because of guys like Cat and Jalen Brunson getting, having their main focus? Or is Jalen Brunson going to be able to get around Wemby? Are they going to force Wemby into foul trouble just like Wemby was in game number 7 of OKC where he had to sit out? Is that going to be an effect? And so with that being said, I really don't want to take too many picks, but I do want to give a couple ones that I really do like for today. If we go ahead and look at the board, we can see that the Knicks are actually underdogs in this series, or at least in game number 1, where Spurs are playing at home. They're favored at minus 185. The total is set at 218.5, and the Spurs spread is minus 4.5. I mean, if we just look at the general DraftKings betting, we can see that the Knicks have actually most of the bets on the plus money, the money line side, and the over is favored at a 67%. Which is kind of understandable. I feel like the Knicks kind of, could pull this off. But again, I'm leaning towards the Spurs here just simply because of the home field advantage and just coming off of this huge series. But at the same time, they are a little bit more tired here. The Knicks have been able to rest, which, again, could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. We just got to see about how this first game goes. Now, with that being said, a couple of my favorite picks for today. I'm really liking Stephon Castle today, specifically his PRA. But you could take his points, you could take his assists, and you possibly could take his rebounds. But I like his PRA as a whole. Specifically, if we look at the stats, I'm actually looking at about his 26 to 27.5. His line is set at 29.5, which definitely makes sense, and the vibes definitely point to the over here. This is the suggested pick that Line Crush gives us, which simply says that Dylan Harper says that this is an intentional shift to a dual playmaker system where Harper will spend more time off ball to accommodate his teammates. So Dylan Harper is not going to be getting the ball that much, right? So now we have two other options. We got De'Aaron Fox and we got Stephon Castle. And what we've seen in the last series is Stephon Castle really stepped up and was able to get his points pretty good. His point time was usually set at about 15 or so. So he's able to get his points there. He's able to, perform and get his rebounds, and he's pretty close on his assists. So we're seeing the same type of lines every single time. We're seeing him 6 assists. We're seeing him 5 rebounds, and we're seeing about 15 to 17 points. I think this game number 1, he's definitely going to have to come out and perform. So his PRA is definitely solid, but again, I feel like to stay a little safer here, I would probably take it at 27.5, which is about minus 154 odds, which I feel like is going to be probably our best bet. Now, if you really are a prize picks better, you can definitely take his Goblin. I feel like this is one of the safest Goblins you could take, is this PRA at 24.5, which, as you can see, statistically has been clearing this line consistently over the last 20 games and during the postseason where he's definitely performing. So I would highly recommend his Goblin, but if you want to play a little bit more riskier, you can bump it up 26.5, 27.5. But as we can see by the vibes, he's definitely becoming a higher playmaker, so he's able to get his assists, he's able to get his rebounds, but he's also playing off ball when De'Aaron Fox is on the court, so he's able to cut in and get his points that way as well. So if we also want to go ahead and we can look at this video, so this is a cool feature about Line Crush, so we can actually look at the video that explains what it's kind of suggesting. So we can watch this real quick and see what they say.
Sharing a quote with him, I'm able to get off the court. I'm able to get off the ball a little bit. He's able to get off the ball a little bit. So that chemistry that we're gonna be able to build game by game is definitely gonna be something there for sure.
Dylan Harper.
So yeah, the biggest thing he's talking about is being able to get off the ball, so he's not just focused on, hey, I'm just the guy throwing dimes, guy throwing assists. He's able to get off the ball, let De'Aaron Fox get it, let Dylan Harper get it here and there, and he's able to, cut to the rim and get his buckets at the same time. So I'm liking Stephon Castle again, 24.5 or 27.5 for that line. Moving on to our next player, I'm going to be looking at OG Anunoby here for 4.5 rebounds. So one thing that we see using Line Crush is that Mitchell Robinson actually is possibly, and I would say highly likely, to be sidelined. So if we actually go ahead and back out here, we can click on Mitchell Robinson and clearly go to the beat writers and see, based on his tweets or what we can see on Twitter, which this tool specifically pulls all the data for you, it simply says that Mitchell Robinson is questionable due to a fractured fifth metacarpal. So I believe his pinky finger is fractured. And if you want to go ahead and look at the specific tweet, you can go ahead and click view original, and it'll take you over to the exact tweet where you can see it, which is super cool. But this is, again, another feature that Line Crush has where it looks at tweets, it looks at podcasts, and looks at quotes to give you the information. So we can also look at a couple of videos here if we wanted to and get some more information. But the real information I gathered here is that Mitchell Robinson is questionable. Now, with Mitchell Robinson being questionable, obviously Karl-Anthony Towns is going to do majority of the work, of course. But, there's always going to be somebody when Karl-Anthony Towns isn't on the court that's going to be, grabbing some boards. And I think OG Anunoby is going to be that person. They definitely recommend his 5.5, and that's kind of where the vibe is going. But I like to play a little bit safer. I like to go down more for the 4.5, where I feel like, he would definitely be able to clear this line. And we get it about minus 200 or so. I mean, if you want to, you can definitely play the 5.5. This is a little bit more riskier. I feel like he gets right around 5 on the dot is kind of what I'm hoping for in this series. So I'm leaning the 4.5 on this play. You could take it as a goblin or parlay it up on DraftKings or any of these other books. But this is my second favorite pick. Now, let's go to our fourth favorite pick. We got Dylan Harper. I like him at 9.5. You can also take him at 10.5, but he's been, an absolute bucket. He came in clutch game number 6 and game 7 of the OKC games. He's definitely pulling up a lot of, shots. And the biggest thing is when he's averaging at least 9 to 10 plus shots, he will get the over, as we can clearly see by the stats. These games he had 7, 4, and 5, and clearly he didn't hit the over. But when he had 9 and 8, which is, on the higher end, kind of going towards 10, he's clearing this line by 12 and 18. And as you can see, we have 10 shots here, 20, 8, 5, or 10, and 11. So I feel like, with him being able to get up 10 plus shots, which I do feel like he's able to do in this game, specifically because the Knicks are probably going to be focusing heavy on Stephon Castle and Wemby. I feel like he's going to be able to get his shot attempts here. And the tool also agrees. They say Harper openly admitted to changing his late game strategy to focus purely on rebounding and behavioral shift that statistical models haven't priced yet. So they also love his rebounding as well in this position, which I do understand. I think that's the actual vibe pick, is his rebounds at 4.5. I think that's also super good. His stats look amazing with that. He's hit this last 8 out of 10 games. But I like his points as well. Now, that's something you could think about if you want to take his rebounds as well. I do like this. This is the vibe that it's giving for the tool. And it's solid money. Plus 152 with a bet that has hit the last 8 out of 10 games. On top of that, the vibes, show that he's more focused on getting rebounds and being in that statistical model. I definitely feel like that's a great play here. And I love this play at rebounds or at his points for sure at 9.5, which I feel like he definitely gets based on this quote here, which talks about the intentional shift of being a dual playmaker. So Harper can, be more off the ball and kind of, run some cuts, run some pick and pop, so on and so forth. Going on to my fourth and final player that I'm liking today. I like Julian Champagnie at 9.5 points, but the line's at 10.5 as well. Now, this is the vibe pick that Line Crush actually is suggesting here. It simply says Champagnie is intensely motivated by a homecoming finals debut. And, he went crazy. We know he went crazy last game. He had a little bit of a heat check. He shot, 6 for 10 from the 3, which was amazing, of course. 6 for 11, he was definitely outperforming for sure. And I definitely could see a replication of that. I feel like his 9.5 would be great value again just because I feel like this is how the Knicks are going to play. They're going to focus Stephon Castle and Wemby, and Champagnie and Dylan Harper and some of these other guys are going to be able to stand out a little bit. Darren Fox as well is probably going to be, focused on a little bit. So I'm liking Champagnie here. And after the heat check, I mean, there's nothing else I should do besides at least, give him a test on game number 1 and just see how he performs. A couple of my favorite picks as well is I definitely like the total to go over. Spurs are a more high scoring team. The Knicks so far this season, I believe, have been scoring high. And we can go ahead and see that under here, under all. We can see, they're a high scoring team. 130 points, 120 points, 109, 109, 115. Like they're averaging over 100 plus points. So I'm definitely liking, him to get over these points. At least the Knicks side. And then we look at, the Spurs side, they're averaging 100, 118, 114, 103. So they're averaging 100 as well. So we're looking at about a 200 scoring game to 210, I would say. I would say we can definitely alt down this line, this game line here, from being at a 218 and make it something that we can parlay up and maybe do like a 207 action, 208 action. I like anything around this range would be super good to kind of add to a parlay. So if you're building a parlay, I'd probably take something like Stephon Castle for 24.5, or I would say Dylan Harper for 9.5 and parlay it up with the over at 209, 208. And that's a solid little plus money parlay that you can get a 2x out of or a little bit more. On top of that, this game number 1, I'm going to be leaning towards the Spurs. I know most people are thinking the Knicks, but home field advantage after a crazy game, they have to be feeling it right now. And until the Knicks can kind of prove that they're going to cool them off, I'm going the Spurs for this game as well. You could take the spread at -4.5 or take the game line as well. So those are a little bit of my leans for today's game. I hope you guys enjoy, take some of these bets, and try out Line Crush for yourself so you guys can do research. These aren't the only picks. As you guys can see, they have other picks on here as well for suggestions, and we always add more as the slate gets bigger and we get more information. So go ahead and try out Line Crush for yourself. They currently have a 3-day trial running right now. You guys can search up linecrush.com or just click the link in the description to go ahead and try it out for yourself and see all of the picks that they have suggested. And with that being said, good luck on your picks, and I'll see you guys tonight once these picks cash.